And the image that you see all day, every day, and you don't see the human form.
The world has always been fascinated by power couples, but few have captured our collective imagination quite like Beyoncé and Jay-Z. They've built a reputation as musical royalty, a billion-dollar empire that seems untouchable. Yet behind the glitz, rumors have circulated for years, suggesting that their iconic family image might be built on shaky ground. Whispers claim Beyoncé never actually carried Blue Ivy, her first child, and point instead to a mysterious figure named Cathy White. Some say that Cathy was a secret mistress who unexpectedly found herself entangled in a chain of events darker than anything the tabloids could have ever imagined. Today, we're peeling back the layers of secrecy to examine the theories, the sudden tragedies, and the swirling suspicions that might turn everything we think we know about the Carters upside down. By the end, you may be left asking, how far would you go to protect a carefully woven story? Rumors of Beyoncé's fake pregnancy ignited back in 2011, shortly after she stunned the world by revealing her growing belly at the MTV Video Music Awards. That single moment, her glamorous red outfit, the beaming smile, the triumphant pose, should have silenced any doubts about whether she was truly expecting. However, just as quickly as the applause flooded in, skeptics began dissecting every frame. Some clips from interviews appeared to show her baby bump folding in a peculiar way, fueling conspiracies that she was wearing a prosthetic. This speculation might have died out on its own if it weren't for Beyoncé's near-flawless image. She'd spent years establishing herself as the picture of perfection.
I didn't even say I'm gonna do any specific type of album. I just did whatever I loved, and I was inspired by so many different travels and types of music that I was exposed to, going to watch my sister DJ and, going to some of the festivals and watching my husband perform. And I was really inspired by Africa and Fela Kuti and jazz, and I kind of mixed everything together and came up with my own little genre.
So any crack in that surface invited intense scrutiny. People asked, why did the bump look so strange during that one TV interview? Why did the timeline of her pregnancy announcements feel rushed? The chatter grew louder, and the Carters, normally experts at controlling the narrative, found themselves fielding questions that simply refused to go away. In entertainment, fleeting rumors often come and go like gusts of wind, but this one endured. Observers noted the conspicuous, tight-lipped approach the couple took whenever the speculation flared up. Some fans found it odd that there were hardly any verifiable photographs during the later stages of Beyoncé's pregnancy. A few believed the couple was simply being protective of their privacy. Others saw a deliberate strategy to hide a larger secret. The talk of a surrogate or some hidden agreement with another woman gained momentum. Still, most of the world shrugged it off as tabloid sensationalism, until new allegations emerged that were far more sinister and potentially tied to a tragedy that left more questions than answers. While Beyoncé's rumored surrogacy story continued to make waves, few had ever heard the name Cathy White. Mentioned only fleetingly in some niche gossip forums, she was allegedly a close associate of Jay-Z. In a realm where many relationships are fleeting, Cathy seemed to have been more than just a casual acquaintance. Some accounts paint her as an intelligent, kind-hearted individual who kept a low profile despite her connections to big-name celebrities. But other sources suggest their closeness went deeper, perhaps a full-blown affair that lasted longer than anyone realized.
I was actually pregnant at the time, and I thought, by the time this comes out, my daughter will understand it's my voice, and what an incredible, cool point.
And what a cool role, too.
It's such a beautiful role, and it has so much depth. It's so emotional, and I literally, I was crying when I did the voiceover, and it was the first thing I did after giving birth.
What truly thrust Cathy into the spotlight, however, was her untimely passing in 2012. Cathy White's death came at a time that struck many as suspicious, only a few months after Blue Ivy was born. Officially, her demise was explained as resulting from causes that did not raise immediate red flags. Yet whispers soon circulated that Cathy had been pregnant herself, possibly with Jay-Z's child during the same period Beyoncé was famously flaunting her baby bump. If that was true, how did it all align so neatly in the public eye? And if Cathy was indeed carrying Jay-Z's child, then how was Beyoncé's celebrated pregnancy simultaneously commanding headlines? That coincidence seemed too big to ignore. So was Cathy the real mother of Blue Ivy? If yes, how and why did her life come to such a sudden end? These questions only scratched the surface of what some theorized was a far-reaching cover-up. As the years passed, the conversation around Blue Ivy's origins kept surfacing. At first, it was easy to dismiss the speculation as yet another bizarre celebrity rumor. Yet, as more details trickled out about Cathy White, the theories started to take on a different complexion. Much of the online chatter boiled down to this: if Jay-Z was indeed the father of Cathy's unborn baby, and if Beyoncé was desperate to maintain the perfect family narrative, could the Carters have orchestrated a plan so intricate that it placed another woman's child directly into their own household? Supporters of the conspiracy pointed to every possible clue: the unnatural way Beyoncé's stomach supposedly flexed, the carefully managed photo ops, and the lack of raw, unfiltered documentation of her final weeks before giving birth.
And the image that you see all day, every day, and you don't see the human form. And I think when Nina Simone put out music, you loved her voice. That's what she wanted you to love. That was her instrument.
Others dug into the timelines, noting that Cathy allegedly discovered she was pregnant during a period that overlapped with Beyoncé's pregnancy announcement. Was it all just unconnected rumor mongering? Or was there some kernel of truth fueling these claims? Regardless, the idea that one of the most famous families in music might have quietly taken in someone else's newborn was a storyline almost too wild to believe, yet impossible to ignore. Cathy White's death in 2012 became the central focus for those pushing the notion of a monstrous conspiracy. The reason? It seemed far too convenient in the eyes of skeptics. She passed away right around the time she might have spoken out. Some say she was preparing to reveal her connection to Jay-Z publicly, possibly with evidence that would have destroyed the Carter family's well-honed image. Then, out of nowhere, she was gone. With no major investigation or media frenzy, her death was quickly overshadowed by the Carters' growing empire. Business ventures, brand deals, and powerhouse performances by Beyoncé kept the rumor mill from gaining mainstream traction. But in hushed corners of the internet, the whispers grew louder. Those determined to expose the truth swore that hush money, threats, and legal pressure had possibly been leveraged to keep any real investigation from gaining steam. Allegedly, certain people close to Cathy were urged to stay silent for their own safety. While no concrete evidence has ever been produced in the public sphere, the mere possibility that a high-profile couple could use their wealth and influence to sweep away an inconvenient reality struck a nerve. Stories of celebrities bearing scandals aren't new, but this one was particularly chilling. It involved life, death, and the identity of a child who had already become part of the cultural landscape.
This really cute kid is listening to the song at the gas station. He works at the gas station. And I drive up in this incredible car, and I wink at him, and I ask him how to get to the freeway, and he's lost for words, basically. It's really witty, and it's really cute. I'm very excited because my new commercial will debut on the very first episode of Pepsi Smash.
It's enough to make anyone wonder, what would happen if these sorts of allegations were ever proven true in a court of law? Recent claims have taken these conspiracies to an even more dramatic level. Some sources suggest Blue Ivy herself, now old enough to think critically about her own family history, stumbled onto clues that implied her mother may not be who she thinks. The magnitude of that discovery would be unthinkable. Imagine living your entire life as the cherished daughter of the world's biggest superstar, only to find out that your birth story might be a complex cover-up. According to rumors, this revelation caused tension at home. Once portrayed as the sweet face of a united front, Blue Ivy is said to have grown distant, questioning everything she'd been taught. Some unverified reports go so far as to claim she ran away or temporarily left the family's orbit, seeking answers about Cathy White and her own origins. While it's nearly impossible to confirm those rumors, particularly given how protective the Carters have always been, just the possibility is enough to captivate public curiosity. If she did leave, even for a brief period, what does that say about the psychological impact of these secrets? And is she forging a new path, separated from her parents' carefully managed brand? In our digital age, even the faintest sign of scandal can explode. The rumors swirling around Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Cathy White have ignited a social media storm. Platforms are ablaze with hashtags like Raw Justice for Cathy, Raw Blue Ivy Truth, and Beyoncé Scandal. On one side stand the defenders, an army of loyal fans who insist this is all baseless gossip cooked up to tarnish an unstoppable powerhouse. They believe the Carters have been unfairly targeted before, and that conspiracies like this feed on envy and speculation.
You know, wherever we could perform, we didn't become professional until we got a record deal around 12 years old.
So who wanted to do this, you or your parents?
Absolutely me. Once I saw Jackson 5 and Michael Jackson, I'm like, oh my God.
On the other side, critics argue that where there is smoke, there is usually fire. They point to years of swirling controversies and the unusual circumstances of Cathy White's story. Comment sections are filled with everything from well-argued theories to outlandish speculation that the Carters are entangled in secret societies. As with many celebrity scandals, the lines between fact and fiction often blur in the echo chamber of social media. Yet one thing remains consistent: the general consensus that we still don't have a definitive explanation for Cathy's abrupt passing or any hard evidence to confirm or deny Blue Ivy's true parentage. This state of limbo only intensifies the collective fascination, fueling an endless cycle of questioning and guessing. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have, for years, epitomized the American dream taken to its loftiest heights. A self-made pair who rose from humble beginnings to command a global stage. Their combined brand extends far beyond music. They're entrepreneurs, philanthropists, cultural icons. But as any empire grows, its foundation becomes more vulnerable to cracks. For all their calculated moves, the Carters might be facing their most dangerous challenge yet. If even a fraction of these rumors are true, it implies a willingness to maintain a lie that involves not just surrogacy, but also hush money, manipulation, and potential wrongdoing that led to someone's demise. Even if the allegations remain unproven, prolonged public scrutiny can eat away at an image that has taken decades to cultivate. Record deals, endorsement opportunities, philanthropic partnerships. Everything could be impacted by the suspicion that they are hiding something monumental. This is especially true in an era when fans demand authenticity more than ever. One of Beyoncé's biggest draws is her perceived sincerity, her championing of female empowerment, her status as a role model for honesty and perseverance. If the public starts to suspect that she orchestrated or colluded in a deception of this magnitude, it could mark a turning point in how she's viewed. In the shadows, rumors persist that certain insiders hold damning evidence. Supposed leaked documents or emails hint at communications about Cathy White's pregnancy and her sudden demise. Some even allege there are correspondences detailing how best to maintain the official narrative while keeping Cathy's family at bay. Whether these documents are real or a fabrication remains unclear. Yet enough chatter has surfaced that some watchers are calling for an official inquiry, either from journalists or from legal authorities, to re-examine Cathy White's case. If that happens, it could shake the Carter empire to its core.
I battled with the edit, and in the end, I just jumped. And I said, I am no different than any woman. Mm-hmm. And I feel like
in all the things that matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of what makes this story so magnetic is how many unanswered questions remain. Was there any documented relationship between Cathy and Jay-Z? Beyond casual acquaintance? Did she ever attempt to go public? Were there strange financial transactions around the time of her death? With enough pressure, these questions could force a deeper look. Even the possibility of exhuming medical records or analyzing phone logs becomes a topic of speculation for internet sleuths. Should those steps ever come to pass, we might see a media spectacle that would overshadow all previous scandals tied to the Carters. Alternatively, the family's formidable legal team could manage to keep all details locked away, leaving the public with little more than rumors, no matter how persistent they become. The mystery of Blue Ivy's parentage and the tragic fate of Cathy White lies at the intersection of rumor, speculation, and tantalizing fragments that don't quite line up in an ordinary way. At its core, this story shines a harsh light on the price of stardom. In a world where image can be everything, the question arises: how far would someone go to defend their carefully curated identity? Whether you stand on the side that believes Beyoncé's pregnancy was entirely genuine and sees Cathy White's death as a tragic coincidence, or you lean toward the darker theories of orchestrated secrecy, one reality remains. The immense power and influence of the Carters make it difficult to ever know the whole truth unless undeniable evidence surfaces. Blue Ivy herself remains the most affected figure in this entire drama. If even a part of these allegations holds weight, the emotional turmoil for a young person discovering that their life story might not be what they'd always believed would be immense. Already heralded by many as an heir to her parents' musical throne, Blue Ivy faces a potentially painful journey of self-discovery. For the rest of us, the story provokes questions about the illusions we create around celebrities, the narratives we're willing to accept, and the moral boundaries that might be crossed behind the scenes to keep those narratives intact. In the end, a shroud of uncertainty hangs over Cathy White's passing, the authenticity of Beyoncé's pregnancy, and the extent to which powerful interests may have intervened. Some prefer to leave these matters alone, content to believe the official stories put forward. Others are compelled to dig deeper, suspecting that the real story might be far more dramatic than any lyrics or music video could convey. Until definitive proof emerges, or until the Carter family breaks their silence in an undeniable way, we're left with a puzzle that remains as riveting as it is unsettling. Whether everything is pure fabrication or a carefully orchestrated secret, one thing is certain: the legend of Beyoncé and Jay-Z will forever carry the weight of these dark, unresolved questions. For now, we watch, we wait, and we wonder if this is just the beginning of a much larger revelation. One that might show us exactly what happens when fame, secrecy, and tragedy collide in a single, heart-stopping saga.